On the line right now is Jonah Goldberg, editor-at-large for the National Review, and he's a Fox News contributor, all-round good guy. Jonah, how are you?
I'm good, Brian. How are you?
Oh, we're doing very well. Okay, so I want to start out with this handshake, because we've heard both sides of this. There are people who look at Obama's handshake with Raul Castro at the Mandela event yesterday morning as being like the worst thing that ever happened. And then we had KT McFarland on earlier, and you know KT.
Sure.
Flaming liberal she says it. Look, we gotta get serious. We gotta eventually deal with the Cubans. She was sort of like glad that it happened.
Yeah, I guess I'm in the middle. I think the interesting thing about it is that I just don't think I think that there's so much amateur hour nonsense in this administration that I just don't think they had a plan going into it. I think that he just sort of went and some guy, when the guy puts out his hand to shake his hand, and he shakes his hand. I don't think they had a meeting saying, should we shake his hand, should we not shake his hand, how should we deal with this? I think it probably just didn't occur to them, and which says something in and of itself. Look, I'm kind of with KT that eventually we got to do something about Cuba, and I understand that basically we've been on death watch with Fidel, and once he goes, it gets easier to do a lot of things. But I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world. I'm perfectly happy for some opportunistic Republicans in South Florida to make ads out of it, but that's their business.
I think part of the problem too is that he has sort of developed this reputation in the minds of critics that he's always sort of bowing to dictators. He walks by, it looks like he's bending forward, and the picture goes viral, and all of a sudden becomes a topic of conversation. Isn't that what it's about as well?
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I mean, I think that part of the problem is also, his defenders say, well, Raul Castro's just really short. But somehow, Paul Ryan didn't seem to bow to Patty Murray last night. But I think Susan's absolutely right. Part of it is that basically everybody has essentially made up their minds about Barack Obama in terms of the broad brushstrokes, and so whatever he does, they just file it into the already existing folders that they've made for the guy.
I would challenge you on that, because the recent polls seem to suggest that his approval ratings are dropping like a stone.
That's a good point. They are.
38% in one recent poll.
Yeah, no, the NBC Wall Street Journal poll today has something like only 12% of Americans are proud of him.
Yeah.
Which is just. It's got to have, some of the people in the White House on suicide.
And he's losing independents, and he's losing young people. It just seems like a collapse in support, in my opinion, for him, and that's got to be panicking the White House. It clearly is. Look, they're hiring all kinds of
they're making Skippy Podesta come back.
Yeah, the thing about Skippy is that hire. The fascinating thing, and if you talk to people on the Hill about it, they'll get really frustrated. When Bill Clinton got in trouble, he moved to the center. And Barack Obama has, for his entire national career, considered moving to the center to be beneath him. And he has this theory that Ronald Reagan never moved to the center, which is nonsense. And so he doesn't have to either to be this transformative guy. And so this is not Clinton bringing in David Gergen. This is Obama basically bringing in
competence,
the base's favorite fixer to come in. It's like bringing in Harold Ickes. It's bringing in the guy that the base thinks will right the ship.
Say what you will about Podesta, but he has a reputation of sort of getting things done effectively, whether you agree with his methods or his position or not.
No, I think that's absolutely true. He's a very competent guy, but ideologically, first of all, he's moved far to the left since his days working with Clinton. I mean, you can't be the head of the founder of the Center for American Progress and not have that happen. But he's also, part of his main portfolio is going to be climate change. I can't wait for Obama to start doing that.
On that point, a lot of people who want to see the Exile pipeline approved are very concerned because he is an adamant opponent of it, and he's going to have the ear of the president.
Yeah, no, I think this is a part of essentially a base strategy. This is a guy who's going to they want to create a floor that they can't get any lower than. Obama said a couple of weeks ago that the good thing about low poll numbers is you have nowhere to go but up, and he was wrong because he's gotten lower since then. And I think that what they need to do is they're truly terrified of just a complete cave-in on their left flank, and I think they're seeing something in the numbers. I've been on several college campuses in the last few weeks, and the students tell me that even their most left-wing professors are giving up on the guy.
What do you think will happen with on the environmental side? The president can't do much with Congress. Do you think he'll try to move through the executive branch on other issues and maybe combine that with some of the new appointees that he's able to get through the new filibuster changes to just kind of legislate that way?
I think that's got to be the strategy. I mean, remember, John Podesta 4 years ago, his most salient commentary on the American political system was, quote, "It sucks." And his argument was that the legislative branch is useless, and so that stuff has to be sort of done unilaterally when you can. And my sense is that they brought him in to help with that project, and they've already moved. I mean, Susan, you know this better than I do. I mean, they've already moved heaven and earth in that direction with the EPA, and my guess is they're going to do more of that stuff.
All right,
and I think the XL pipeline is dead as long as Podesta has any say in it.
Got to leave it right there. Jonah Goldberg, thank you so much.
Great to be here, guys.